There will come a time when all the might they have, which they are of course using it, using all those empty words and empty phrases. It's nothing but a sham mockery, all those phrases, written by one fellow who is preparing all his speeches for him.
This is part of the American propaganda?
American propaganda.
American
propaganda. I am not against America. I have spent more years in the United States than anywhere in this world.
But this is the voice of those affluent class.
And I no,
this is the voice of that affluent class.
Yeah, that is all right. You see, that's probably the way they want the things to be. But are we in a position to stop them in their tracks? You see, Russia has been totally and completely destroyed because the Joker handed over in a gold platter what these mighty nations failed to achieve. And what is the result there? It is a beggar nation today. I am not interested in either communism or democracy or any of these political ideologies, because they're all empty words and empty phrases as I am concerned. They are using those phrases to fool themselves and fool everybody. You understand? So, the only thing that they will understand is force. Nothing else, you see, makes them see and understand that these people are one day going to have force to stop them in their tracks. You know, as long as it is possible for them to get away with it, they are going to do it. Are we in a position to stop them in their tracks? Do we have the means to stop them? They are not going to listen to your stories. They are not going to listen to your words. You see, what matters to them is that they must still continue to exploit the whole world they have been exploiting for these 2 centuries. Are they going to give up? All these are empty phrases. They don't mean a damn thing to the man who is there in the streets. All these scientific achievements you are talking about
Yes.
doesn't percolate to the level of the common man. He is not interested in all these empty phrases. He is interested in basic things, food, clothing and shelter.
Gigi, one thing I may just ask you.
Yes, sir.
What Mr. Mahesh has asked you, and he has quoted Clinton's speech or
The Clinton's word.
towards this social development conference in Copenhagen, and this is American view, and I can say it is a North American and West European view also. I see history of 10 years last, especially after the diminishing of the influence of Russia in the communist world. That threat or suicidal approach by developing countries, as it was done by Saddam Hussein, it was repeated by North Korea by threatening United States. If you don't provide us all technology of nuclear energy, then we will continue our nuclear armaments program. And America agreed due to threat to provide all such support. And still, I feel political scientists and politicians in America and West European, they are having 2 or 3 issues only before them. Number 1, the increasing economic power of Japan. Number 2, the increasing military power of 2 or 3 developing countries. Number 3, the increasing economic strength and human resource strength of China.
Yeah, but how are you going to meet that challenge? Do we have the means to do it? And how are you going to acquire these means? And what kind of means you will have to acquire to stop them in their tracks and share everything you see that this planet has equally? I am not saying for a moment that classless society is possible in this world. There isn't going to be a classless society in this world at all. The communists tried it and totally failed. There isn't going to be any classless society. There isn't going to be any free society. Ultimately, the whole thing boils down to one basic thing: the exploitation of the natural resources of this world to their advantage at the expense of other nations. There is no way you can make them see the absurdity of what they are doing. All these are empty words and empty phrases. They will use anything to fool us all.
But the World Bank has been projecting that Indonesia, China and India will be major economic forces by
Do you believe
30
that?
years from now.
What makes you think that
I mean,
India?
the projections by these very well...
They are just, you see, they are like, you see, the predictions of an astrologer. That's all.
Can you put them on the same level?
On a lower level. When the astrologer is predicting the future
See, what
of the
Mr. Bhai
individuals,
is saying, and there is no denial about that. I think what he is saying, I may like to repeat the same
yes.
thing. There is a scientific
What is so scientific about their statements?
forecast what Mr. Bhai is saying.
I mean, there are
What is
people
the
who are
scientific?
made on the basis of the economic, these economic studies.
Statistics is there. The Japan, Indonesia, Korea
that
will
is-
emerge as a big economic power.
It is not in their interest to achieve that goal. They are just talking. Where is the guarantee that they will continue to be the toadies of these powerful nations? What makes you think that is going to be a fact? Huh? What will happen after 30 years? Nobody knows. As I see it, India has no chance of any kind to play any role effectively in the affairs of the world.
Coming years, no possible.
As I see. And what makes it impossible for this country is the stranglehold of the religious thinking on the part of the millions of people. You know, it's not going to disappear at all.
I would like to comfort myself that
You can compare it.
the World Bank seems to predict that India will be a very major force by in the next century, 20.
And you swallow that?
I mean, I would like to believe that
Yeah,
it's a kind of, as you say, a prediction made by an astrologer.
And you and I will not be there after 40 or 50 years.
Usually what you say, can we not put together your views or a sensible views of myself and Mr. Bhai's word? In other words, that why not we approach people of this world for elimination of armaments, for elimination of military and police force, more freedoms, equalities. I am not going by democracy and fascism or communism. More democracy, more freedoms, more elimination of all controls, because I think you will agree with us that controls are not good thing, because we were having before socialist system, your socialist economy,
pattern of
society, not even socialist
Never
system.
talked of.
Never talked of such nonsense.
And what a mockery it was.
Yeah.
And what is the result of it all?
Yes.
Where are we
Yeah.
today?
And similarly, I will come to that area also of social institutions also. But now I want to finish this political institutions and national alliance and national patterns. So don't you think that if we take say, or what you say, if we people should call for elimination of all armaments, we should call for sharing of the economic power, we should share about economic and technological advancement of the world, we should have more active role of United Nations, we should have more democratic regional representation in United Nations. I am talking the 5-6 things without covering democracy and human rights. What you say, will it not be sufficient if we say about international affairs? If we should follow these things, only then we can have prosperity in the world.
I'm afraid it is just daydreaming and it is not going to happen. A mutual friend of Bertrand Russell and I brought us together. Those were the days when he was carrying a propaganda against the hydrogen bomb, you know. And I asked him one question. I asked him you one basic question. Are you going to do away with the policeman? You understand?
Yes.
And hydrogen bomb is an extension of the policeman.
Correct.
So we have to draw this line somewhere and separate these two things, the policeman and the hydrogen bomb. I'm sorry, I'm not interested in what you are doing, because first of all you must do away with the policeman. You are not going to do it. That's why I say I am a thief. I have stolen everything that belongs to everybody on this planet. And I need a policeman to protect what I have stolen. You know, I am not ready to accept that I am a thief and call everybody a thief. So he has become a very rich man now. From the lower middle class, he jumped into the top rich people. Is he ready to part with what he has acquired through any means he adopted, fair, foul, it really doesn't matter. Is he ready to part with it? He is not ready to part with it. He wants richer people to part with what they have grabbed for themselves. This is the basic issue that we have to deal with. That we are going to achieve this dream of doing away with the police, doing away with the nuclear weapons. It's not going to happen. They can force us to sign pacts saying that they will not produce nuclear weapons anymore. What are they doing? They are still carrying on experiments there, these nations, nuclear powers, and they are not ready to destroy their weapons. But how do you think this dream will become a reality?
You think that even after Second World War, even after so much democratization, even after officers in masses for realizing human rights, the United States and other countries, you can call developed countries, are acting like policemen, and they want to govern whole world as a policeman, ignoring United Nations sanctions or misusing United Nations. What do you say?
First of all, you must abolish the United Nations. What kind of a voice all these underdeveloped nations have? Can India, can Indonesia, can Korea veto the resolutions they passed to attack a small country like Somalia or Grenada? Do you have any voice there? Are we ready to do away with the United Nations? The United Nations has become a very powerful instrument for them to use and exploit the whole world. No?
There is a report here.
Sir, don't forget about what.
Very, very interesting. So there is the International Commission of Global Governance.
We are not politicians, we are not scientists.
In Hyderabad we decided, and what Mr. Mahispat has also said, for realizing that social development in the world, what we have to do, and I think you have said in different words, that economic and social condition which should be promoted contribute to stemming the flow of refugees, internally displaced persons, migrants, diminishing ethnic, religious and nationalist tensions, preventing conflict and war, and reducing the need for humanitarian assistance and peacekeeping missions. What do you say about this? Can we realize
there is no point in
after creating economic and social conditions, can we realize these things?
You may say that I am a pessimist, that I am cynical, but that is not going to happen at all. For the simple reason that the gap that is becoming wider and wider is bound to be there and will become wider and wider as the years go.
That seems to be the trend.
Then another thing.
So how are you going to stop it? You see, what kind of the only thing that they can understand and they will understand is the counter force.
But usually
Nothing else. All this talk is empty talk.
How can you, that resentment that I feel as a have-not, and I see in my area somebody very affluent.
Let's not use those words, haves and have-nots.
How will I implement my threat?
Are
The bitterness I feel, how will I implement
Are you
it?
going to part with what you have acquired
No.
by foul means?
No, I will not. I will
You
fight.
are not
I will
ready.
fight.
And why you are talking in general terms? Why do you expect the United
What-
States to give
What
up?
I am saying is what is mine, what is
What?
yours is also mine.
Yes, certainly. You see, they want us, people living in the slums, to give up everything you have. And one fellow there has two parts, and he's not ready to part
So
with
what are
one
you saying?
part to help his neighbor there.
So what are you saying? The human nature doesn't want to part with things.
Don't talk of human nature and all that kind of a thing. This is good for a schoolboys discussion.
Then what do you want to
And
do?
politicians and scientists gather together and dish out these empty phrases, that's all.
Then you
What-
mean
what
to
is-
say, you mean to say, Yuji, that we don't have any solution to the welfare or the peace in this world immediately, and no,
Not only immediately, never.
then you think this
I am
world
not
is
a pessimist.
Yeah, no. You think that this world is made for collapse only or for destruction only?
I think it has gone too far and there is no way you can reverse the way the whole thing is moving.
You think it's
In
still
fact, what we get enough evidence that all technological leaps we are
Yes,
making
yes.
is furthering, pushing it further.
They are,
It doesn't seem to be arresting or stopping things.
Yeah.
no, not at all.
Because
It is
at
pushing it further.
one place we find affluence.
Whatever they are doing
It's accelerating.
is not only accelerating, you cannot stop it because you are involved in that. You are the beneficiary. You are the beneficiary. That's why I say the middle class people must be eliminated. Even then there will be two types, the rich and the poor. The poor will become poorer and poorer. The rich will become richer and
You
richer.
agree with the
middle class
Marx?
people-
Yeah, yes. You agree when you talk, because I heard you talking about middle class and they got benefits. I think you go very close to Marxist approach, which says this middle class is bourgeois class and it is always collaborating ruling class.
No, that's all. I have never been an admirer of Karl Marx, although I read that book. And I followed the course of events in Russia and other communist countries.
You're an admirer of Mao Zedong.
No, let's not talk about it now. You see, but what I am pointing out that it is just not possible to create a classless society. It is not possible to create a stateless state at all. We have seen it happen in our own time. Huh? This is easy to put that label on me and call me a communist or you say a follower of this system or that system. That's the way, easy way for you. I am not interested in winning you over to my point of view. All right. In all the interviews that I give to the TV people and radio people and journalists, newspapers in the whole world, and I meet scientists, psychologists, philosophers, politicians, name it. I have lived with sages, saints, saviors of mankind, the murderers, the rapists, the con men, the thieves. You see, I know, I have been around, I have seen the whole world. I am not impressed by all this talk at all. As long as there is a single person on this planet who does not have the basic needs, food, clothing, shelter, I am not impressed by anything these people say. You can produce statistical evidence that we are moving in this direction towards, you see, a happier society and everybody will be fed. How long do you want us to wait for that kind of a thing? In India, they accomplished this feat of keeping those people, the starving people,
By saying let's lie.
to make, you see, a virtue of their starvation and their misery by telling them that they did something terrible in their past life and that they have to make a virtue of their sufferings in this life, and in their next life they will have everything plenty. Very clever people
So
here.
is it
in
a
India.
bomb that
Very
is-
clever people.
Is it a bomb that has worked or is it a drug which has destroyed?
What bomb?
This particular concept that
Yes.
you did this in your past life
Yes.
and that is why you should bear this burden and that you will be rewarded if you do it gracefully in
No,
this
that-
life. Is it a kind of a philosophy which has worked as a balm and succeeded in nursing them, or is it a drug which is preventing them from doing what they should really be doing?
None of those words apply to the situation they find themselves in today. That is the cleverest way of keeping people there in their poverty without the basic things, food, clothing and shelter.
And they unshackle themselves.
And asking them to make a virtue of that. Tomorrow, in your next life, 40 years India has been free, and why there are 40 million people underfed?
100 million people.
Essentially, the fact is that you are trying those silly things called logic, rationality, and your cleverness, which is not really cleverness, to impress me. I am not interested in winning you over to my point of view. Gun and point it towards me and tell me not to say those things. Individually, there isn't a damn thing that you can do. It is not that I am a pessimist or any such thing. And secondly, you don't realize that collective means you become the enemy of you.